I used to think I'd married my soulmate. We met young, built a life together brick by brick, and shared dreams of kids, a cozy home, and a future full of laughter. For a while, it really felt like we were living that dream. But somewhere along the line, our spark began to fade. I didn't notice it at first, or maybe I didn't want to. Work got busy, responsibilities piled up, and our conversations shrank to quick exchanges about bills, groceries, and what time dinner would be ready. My name is Greg, and my wife's name is Jenna. We'd been married for 6 years when I first felt the shift. Jenna decided to join a CrossFit gym to get back in shape after a stressful year. I was supportive, even proud. I thought it'd be good for her and for us. She started coming home glowing, almost giddy, and I convinced myself it was just the endorphins. Then she began talking about her trainer, Drew. At first, it was harmless. Drew pushed me to a new personal best today. Or, Drew said I've really improved. But gradually, I noticed her eyes lighting up in a way they hadn't for me in a long time. She'd talk about Drew's sense of humor, how he made the workouts exciting, how he motivated her. She said his name so casually, but I could feel something building underneath. We'd stopped having sex regularly. I told myself it was normal. Couples go through dry spells. But deep down I worried. Our once effortless intimacy became awkward, forced. She'd pull away from kisses, claim she was tired, or slip into bed already asleep. When I tried to talk about it, she'd reassure me that everything was fine, but her eyes darted away too quickly, her voice too bright. One Friday evening, I offered to pick her up from the gym. She insisted I didn't need to. I pressed, and she snapped, "I'll Uber home, Greg. I don't need a ride." I remember the sting of her tone, so sharp it left a physical ache in my chest. I told myself I was being paranoid, that I trusted her. But the seed of doubt was planted. Then came the night everything started unraveling. She came home late, much later than usual. I was on the couch pretending to watch TV, but really just waiting. When she walked through the door, her hair was damp like she showered, but her gym bag was slung over her shoulder as if untouched. She was wearing a different outfit than she'd left in that morning. I forced a smile, asked if she'd had a good workout. She flinched before answering, her eyes darting to the floor. My gut twisted. I tried to ignore it, but the signs piled up. Text messages she'd hide, sudden laughter at notifications, hours at the gym that didn't match her schedule, unexplained absences on weekends. She'd check herself out in the mirror more, buy new lingerie she never wore around me. It was like watching a stranger move into my wife's body. I finally broke when she left her phone unlocked on the counter one evening. I saw a message from Drew pop up. "Can't wait to see you again tomorrow. Still thinking about last night." My hands trembled as I scrolled up. Blurry selfies in his apartment, late-night confessions, conversations so intimate they felt like a knife twisting in my chest. The world around me went silent. My heart hammered so hard, I thought it might break my ribs. The woman I trusted more than anyone had betrayed me. I felt rage boiling under my skin, but more than that, an overwhelming sadness. Memories of our wedding day flashed in my mind, her bright smile, the vows we exchanged, the promises of forever. I thought about all the quiet nights spent curled up together, the whispered, "I love you," before bed. How could she throw it all away? When Jenna came out of the shower, I was sitting at the kitchen table, her phone in my hand. The moment her eyes fell on it, I saw the blood drain from her face. She opened her mouth, but no words came. The silence between us was deafening. "Is it true?" I asked, my voice barely more than a whisper. My hands were clenched so tight they shook. She closed her eyes and nodded. A single tear slipped down her cheek, but I felt nothing, no sympathy, no warmth. Just a hollow, aching emptiness. I'm sorry, Greg, she began, her voice cracking. It just happened. I didn't mean for it to go this far. I wanted to scream, to rage, to smash something. But instead, I sat there, numb, listening as she poured out a torrent of excuses. She said I'd grown distant, that she felt invisible, that Drew made her feel alive. Each word felt like a hammer blow to my heart. I asked if she loved him. She hesitated, then whispered, I don't know. That was worse than a yes. That night, we slept in separate rooms. I lay awake until sunrise, staring at the ceiling, replaying every moment of our life together, searching for the exact point where we lost each other. Was it when I started working late? When she felt unappreciated? Or did it happen so gradually we never stood a chance? The next morning, the house was cold and silent. I felt like a ghost drifting through my own home. I kept waiting for this nightmare to end, to wake up with her curled up next to me like before. But every second reminded me this was real. My wife had betrayed me, and everything we'd built was crumbling. The days that followed were a blur. We moved around the house like strangers, speaking only in clipped sentences about the most basic things: groceries, mail, bills. Each word felt like it chipped away at what little was left between us. I caught myself studying Jenna when she wasn't looking, searching for the woman I'd married in the lines of her face. But all I saw was someone I didn't know anymore. One evening, I came home from work to find her sitting at the kitchen table, a duffel bag at her feet. She looked up at me with red-rimmed eyes and said, I think it's best if I stay somewhere else for a while. It felt like the ground fell out from under me. I knew this was coming, but hearing it shattered something inside me. I nodded stiffly, unable to find words. As she walked out the door, I wanted to chase after her, to beg her to stay. But my legs wouldn't move. That night, the silence in the house was suffocating. I wandered room to room, touching our framed wedding photos, the throw blanket she loved, the little knickknacks we collected on vacations. It was as if ghosts of our past were everywhere, mocking me with memories of a life that had slipped through my fingers. A few days later, Jenna asked to meet at a cafe. I thought maybe she wanted to talk about fixing things, but I could tell as soon as I saw her face that wasn't the case. She looked tired, worn down, as if the weight of her choices had finally caught up to her. I need to be honest with you, she said quietly, eyes fixed on her coffee cup. I'm in love with him. The words cut deeper than anything she'd said before. They echoed in my head like a death knell. Then what was all of this? I asked, my voice hoarse. What was our marriage? The promises we made? The plans we had? She finally looked up, tears glistening in her eyes. I don't know, Greg. I swear I never meant to hurt you. I thought I could keep what we had and this thing with Drew separate. But it spiraled. I realized then that she was never coming back. The finality of it settled over me like a storm cloud. There would be no reconciliation, no miracle fix. We were beyond saving. I spent the next weeks in a haze, going through the motions of life, work, errands, polite small talk with neighbors. But everything felt hollow. Nights were the worst. The bed felt too big, too cold. I'd lie awake replaying every moment of our marriage, dissecting every fight, every quiet dinner, every missed opportunity to say, I love you, or hold her a little longer. I kept asking myself what I could have done differently, but the answers never came. I finally found a lawyer. Sitting in his office, hearing words like division of assets and settlement agreement made the end real in a way it hadn't been before. I felt like I was signing away not just our shared life, but a part of myself. The lawyer asked if I wanted to contest anything, but I shook my head. I was too tired to fight. In the weeks that followed, Jenna moved the rest of her things out. I wasn't home when she came. I couldn't watch her pack away pieces of our life together. The house felt empty afterward, stripped of the warmth her presence had brought, even if it had long since cooled. One evening, I got a text from her. "I hope someday you can forgive me." I stared at it for a long time before deleting it. I didn't know if forgiveness was possible, or even what it would look like. All I knew was that I needed to move forward, even if I had no idea how. I started running every morning before work, pounding the pavement until my lungs burned and my thoughts quieted. I signed up for a woodworking class on weekends. I called old friends I drifted from over the years. Slowly, imperceptibly, life began to have a rhythm again. One Saturday, I found myself at the farmer's market. I caught a glimpse of a couple laughing together, hands intertwined, and for the first time in months, I didn't feel a pang of bitterness. Instead, a small spark of hope flickered in my chest. Maybe someday, I could have that again. Maybe love wasn't done with me yet. I'd be lying if I said I didn't still think about her. The memories don't vanish overnight. I still catch the scent of her perfume on a jacket, or hear a song we used to dance to, and it all comes flooding back. But the grief doesn't consume me the way it did in those first raw days. I've learned to let the memories pass like waves, washing over me, but not pulling me under. The truth is, the betrayal changed me. It shattered the naive certainty I once carried that love was unbreakable if you were loyal enough. But it also forced me to look inward, to understand my own needs, my own worth. I realized that I deserved someone who would choose me every day, not just when it was convenient or exciting. One night, sitting on my porch with a beer in hand, I watched the sun set in a blaze of orange and pink. I thought about everything I'd lost, but also everything I'd learned. I knew there was still a long road ahead, but for the first time in a long while, I felt like I could walk it, step by step, towards something new.